Okay, we're going live.
Don't forget to record.
Okie dokie, now we're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Black
Hi.
Swans. I have no idea who's here. It's okay, it's live and recording. Thank you for reminding me. I remembered this time. Welcome, Black Swans. Always good to see you. Nice.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, now I need
We've got feedback somewhere.
to do something.
Here. It's okay.
Otherwise, I get feedback, so I have to turn the YouTube off.
I can hear.
No, that was just feedback from both platforms. So hopefully we are good now. So hello, everybody, and welcome. You've got your Black Swan Coaches here with you. We've dressed up for you. Yes, we have. We actually did full-on faces. So for your light entertainment this evening. So welcome. Today we're talking about the girlfriend trap. And I am still recovering from my cold. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to bear with me. And I've got our beautiful coach Yvonne, who is here. Our marriage and divorce coach is out here looking all sweet and pretty. And of course, we've got our head coach, Unique, who is out here. And you know, she is going to be giving it to you straight. And no, Coach Yvonne, I will not be answering any of your questions, but feel free to pose them to everybody. She likes to answer questions with questions, but I will not be participating in that.
Not today.
Today is really just a chit chat. It's nice for us to hang out with you ladies and to just spend some time. And I remember Coach Unique was saying, oh, you know, Chengi, queens don't hang out. I was like, well, I'm so sorry. Indeed, we do not. We're going to be spending some time together today. And for those of you who don't know me, a little bit quirky thing about me, I like to drink everything in a wine glass, even if it's water or orange juice. I'm obsessed with the shape of it. I think it's so elegant and so beautiful, and I don't feel I should deny myself the privilege. So it is just water. Okay. Another quirky thing maybe that you can tell us about yourselves, coaches. What is the one thing that about yourself that is quirky that people would never know about you while we wait for everybody to join us today? Who wants to go first?
I'll let you go first, Coach Yvonne.
I had no idea that we were
actually we might be able to have to tell, because obviously you're on the spot now, so you can't really think of it right away. But like, I don't know, like, what quirky thing do I do? I'm honestly gonna have to give the honest to Coach Yvonne. Like, honestly,
you know, a quirky thing that you do, Coach Yvonne, that people don't know about you?
A quirky thing that I do that people don't know about, and it's so well hidden, I'm the only one that knows, but it's quirky for me.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm at home and I'm here on my own, I sing opera.
Oh.
When I say I sing opera, let's not get it twisted here. I am no great grande dame, you know. I open my mouth and then I call it opera, but if anyone heard me, they're looking to find the nearest police to say somebody's
something's happening there.
In my head, I sound like, I don't know if anyone, you know, any of our listeners know, is it Tiriticawana? If you know who she is, or Hayley Westenra. These are great opera singers, and I feel that I can stand up next to any of them. That's a one.
We believe
I sing
you.
opera in the house on my own, especially when I'm cooking. I entertain myself, and I think that's okay.
We absolutely believe you, and we know that your hubby thinks you sound like an angel. Coach Yvonne, I was just to say, you know, when she opens her mouth to sing, God thinks, oh, where's one of my angels? Yes, angelic. So that's fantastic. So we know a little bit about Coach Yvonne. We know that she likes to have a sing song. Can you think of anything, Coach Unique?
I actually thought of two.
Okay, tell us.
I think, but you guys know this already anyway. I am a Marvel fan addict. Like, I know everything to know about Marvel. I'm a Marvel fan geek. I'm a proper all of that hero stuff geek.
Right.
And on the other hand, I'm a crocheter. I'm
Yeah.
crocheting my way to a throw.
Oh my
That started
goodness.
last year. Still
Oh
going.
my goodness. Love it.
So much for
Another,
quirk, right?
another quirk of mine is unique to crochet geek. I'm a knit geek, as our beloved Mama Swan has testament of some of the things I've made.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, there you go. We've got some geeky people here. Actually, everybody tonight, everyone in the Black Swan leadership is a full-on geek. You'll be surprised. We're just
know.
full-on geeks with hair and makeup.
As well as study, by the way, because like the amount of books that we share amongst each other is
Oh my
unbelievable.
goodness. We're
Yeah.
insane. We're insane readers. We just
Yeah.
love to share information. So
You'd think we didn't have a life.
we don't actually have a life.
We
This is our
don't.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we don't.
This is our life.
This is our life. And
lives.
we have so many exciting things coming up, ladies. We have so many exciting things coming up this year that are going to really give you a sense of deep involvement. But I know those of you are like, girls, thanks. But can we get down and dirty with the subject about the girlfriend trap? Why we're even having this conversation? What's going on? Why is it essential to have it? I beg your pardon. And so that's what we're really here to talk about tonight. So basically, I call it the girlfriend trap, but obviously as the world is civilized and things have changed, girlfriend has come to mean a variety of different things. And what's happening now is a lot of us are getting stuck in the girlfriend zone. Okay. We are, not really able to push the needle when it comes to moving from dating to courtship to marriage. In fact, courtship is something that has been eliminated from the process. We literally go from dating to kind of this wishy-washy territory, okay, where you kind of are a girlfriend, but what does that mean really, to then kind of getting stuck there. And if you're really, really fortunate and you sit on his bottom and you strangle him and you blackmail him and you go to his mother and beg her and you sing, dance and do all kind of level of performance, you may be lucky enough to get the ring. And so, what is really the trap? What has gone awfully, awfully wrong within the dating and relationship space? Really thinking about the history, where we have come from. We have to think about this from different contexts and cultures. I come from Zimbabwe. I come from a culture that doesn't facilitate dating per se, in terms of it's really a courtship culture, but obviously westernization, modernization, a lot of things have fallen by the wayside. And I know in English culture it was very much the same, courtship culture, and courtship really is dating with the purpose to marriage. Now we can have these contracts between a man and a woman, but what makes courtship different is that the man would go and ask permission from the girl's father to court her with the intention of marriage. I genuinely believe that's obviously a beautiful thing, but obviously now with women being raised in fatherless households, and modernization where daddies are more cool than they've ever been before, there really isn't a level of accountability, and men are not sort of held to a standard to kind of speak to the father or the authority figure in the house and ask permission to date their daughter with intention. Courtship was for a limited amount of time. You couldn't court indefinitely. You couldn't just court somebody's daughter for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or whatever it is. The courtship was pretty much around the 6-month mark. Dating was more the kind of time, if you see Bridgerton and you see, the kind of way English culture was done and Western culture, the summer was when you would meet, you would have public encounters, you would go to events, you'd be chaperoned, and that was your time to nurture a friendship, decide if you want to marry each other. And in some cultures with arranged marriages, is pretty much how it works, a lot of chaperoned, public, kind of getting to meet each other, and then there would be some courtship. And the courtship in some cultures where arranged marriages understood, the courtship element of that is the element where they prepare for the wedding. It's usually where the families are putting money together for the wedding, setting a date for the wedding. So really, romance and marriage was always the end goal. But obviously in the 21st century, it has become a perhaps goal. I believe that Black Swans desire marriage because Black Swans err to the side of being more traditional, wanting a bit more for conservative relationship. We are more feminine women who are really looking for that provider, protector setup. So, you know, if you're super liberal, you'll probably find our ways a bit triggering. But, you know, Black Swans tend to want to get married and you know, be cherished in a loving relationship. So marriage is the way that we navigate that. So Black Swans tend to date with marriage in mind, is simply how it is what we're about. It's really the core of our essence. And so, you know, we are having to really look at what is going on with so many women being stuck. I have my thoughts about how we can move forward. I have my thoughts that I will share later because obviously I don't want to do all the talking. I want the coaches to give their opinion, and we're just going to chit chat around it, and we're just going to have a conversation around it. And of course, I'm excited to see what you're saying in the comments. So chat back to us. Do feel free to speak to us because we want to have live so we can interact with you. We already do videos where we can't interact with you in the same way. So we're here live and we'll be coming live every Tuesday. I'm sorry we were not here last week because I was actually really ill and none of the coaches were available either, but we were going to attempt to be here every Tuesday or every other Tuesday. We're going to really be diligent with this because we want to get to know you, want to be able to chit chat with you. So having given you the background of different cultures and how things were done and where we are now, I just want to ask the coaches what they think is the current definition of girlfriend and how they feel about that. What is your experience? What are your thoughts around that? And maybe we can then pick up the conversation and whoever wants to go first can do that.
Yeah, I don't mind in this case. I think that the term girlfriend always has to be defined by each individual case because culturally, dating, some people would call that you are now my girlfriend. And again, it's when it's now presented to the wider scale. But as Black Swans, we know that we're intentional about our dating. We're intentional about being someone's girlfriend. It is within a limited time. We have terms like exclusivity. We have terms like, okay, we're dating to collect information. We have terms like courting. So I think it's always really down to us as individuals to define what girlfriend means to you. So in context, it pretty much means, okay, this is the guy that you're with and this is the woman you're with. Girlfriend could also mean this is the girl I'm with for the meantime while I travel to other places, and this is my girlfriend in this town, or this is my girlfriend in the other town, this is my girlfriend in this town. So it has so many varied contexts. So you really have to question the particular couple that are involved. And also as a woman, you need to define what you want that to be. Because the reason why we're talking about this girlfriend trap is because you only get trapped when you haven't defined what it is that you really want. If you haven't defined it, yeah, we'll see. The whole, we'll date and we'll see what happens. That is the trap. Because you will still be girlfriending and seeing what happens until kingdom come. And then you'll find women who are in relationships for 5 years and are totally unhappy, but cannot vocalize that they're done with girlfriend status. And then there's also the other side where if you really think about it, again, age has a very big part to play with it, because at 40 and above, really, that whole girlfriend thing is like, how long should you really be a girlfriend? Let's just define what we're doing. Let's see if we can actually do it and handle it in a mature way. And if after 3 months we're not able to define what it is, let's go our separate ways.
I like that thinking, Unique. When Chengi said that we were going to be speaking about the girlfriend trap, and one of the questions you asked was, well, where did the term come from? Because admittedly, I can sometimes be a bit of a stalk and bury my head in sand when it comes to new terminology regarding dating. And this one piqued me. So I looked and thought, okay, so where does the term come from? And the term girlfriend actually goes back to 1859, so way back then. But then a girlfriend was considered a companion and a friend. And over the years, things have changed. And when you look in Webster's today, a girlfriend is a companion with whom you have sexual relations with. So back then, when it was a friend, and today it is now classed as that, we've come a hell of a long way in a few hundred years. And some would say yippee for bringing in the change. And whilst it's good to change, the thing that surprised me the most when it people talk about the girlfriend and the girlfriend trap is, it's as Unique you were saying, is that you're dating this person, you're going ahead, you're calling yourself your girlfriend, and you're basically, if you've been dating the person for, let's say, more than 3 months, because you haven't put any systems in place, you by now, you're going to his home, you're tidying up, you may be cooking, you may be doing all manner of things to make yourself wifey. But because you're stuck in that I am the girlfriend mode, he introduces you as girlfriend, but you're not going to move from there because you have deliberately put yourself and given yourself that title, and that title is now stuck with him. So why would he want to change the situation? Your girlfriend, you come, you cook, you clean, you do everything for him. You're pretending to be a wife, but you call yourself a girlfriend. There's a disparity here. So it's either you do as you say, where let's have a 3 month, and then after 3 months, if we're not going to be exclusive, or we're not going to head towards getting the ring, whatever, then let's call it a day. But to sit there, I think you said sometimes 5 years, with what to show for it, you've wasted all that time and still come out at the end of it just being a girlfriend because you deem that to be the right thing to call yourself. It's a case of now where I think as women, whether you're a black swan or not, it's you've got to decide to yourself, okay, what do I want? And when you know what it is you want, then you're going to be able to set your boundaries. Then you're going to be able to you decide what your core needs are when you know what it is you want. You set your boundaries and you date with that in mind without giving yourself a title. Just date, have fun, get to know people. Let's see where it's going. And then when it moves forward, then we do title if it's necessary.
Yeah. I agree. I think that the modern day woman, thank you for that definition, because it makes sense. I think that it's a bit of a hoax. The whole girlfriend thing is a bit of a hoax. And I say that with a caveat because I understand modern dating and that it's essential to have a place in a space that kind of covers that courtship period without necessarily the formality. The problem is that when we start to buy into being called girlfriends, instead of it making it mean what it actually means, I am a friend that is a girl. Therefore, I have zero commitment from you. The problem is that we take ourselves off the dating market. And I actually believe that it's a kind of backhanded way of hoarding you. Now, what's really important about this is men and women do not have the same commodities that they bring to the table, to the relationship matrix. A woman sacrifices her youth, her beauty, her fertility with time. So when she's rendering her time to a man, she's sacrificing and putting a lot on the line. So this is particularly important for those of us who still want to have families and children, not necessarily for those of us who are done with our kids, but for those of us who, the amount of women who waste their fertile years, their younger years, and those years when your beauty is at peak, with being somebody's girlfriend and actually believing that is a commitment. And then you end up with discarded because really you were just a placeholder for something else. And what happened is the pride and the dignity of being a wife, we took that energy and we put it on the girlfriend. So now we have women who actually walk around thinking, this is my boyfriend, thinking they actually have rights to this man legally or otherwise, but they don't. And here, the Black Swan Relationship Academy, as long as you don't have a ring, you're single. It's not simple. Let's keep things very, very, very simple. Now, if you are going to take yourself off the dating market, I know the coaches have spoken about it. How long is that going to be for? Okay. Number two, does that mean that this exclusivity is you're not going to talk to anybody else? Or is it sexual exclusivity? Is this the one person that you're going to be sexually active with? And we're not talking about the morality of it. It's not a conversation about the morality of whether you should, shouldn't, whether, whatever. Let's assume that, we all have different levels of, we've decided how we're moving. Okay. So usually I find the girlfriend term is used to negotiate a sexual contract, basically, and this is something that we teach, if you're gonna, I beg your pardon, if you're going to engage in premarital relations, you're just doing it with a contract. So is it a sexual exclusively contact, or are you literally excluding yourself from the dating market? Mm-hmm. Now, I just want to discuss this because I know that there's a lot of clutter and chatter on the digital place about women that continue to date other people. And I know that there are men that are sensitive about that. They feel used, they feel some kind of way if the woman that they're focusing on is keeping her options open. So I want to talk about that, why they feel that way. And, we want to kind of see, is there some sort of a balance? Because usually at the point of exclusivity, girlfriend status, men really stop making an effort. It's actually the performance level goes from 100%, usually sometimes down to 20%, because I think as women, we've so put honor and respect on the title girlfriend that a man feels like he's giving you everything, right? He feels like, they do that in marriage anyway. They put a ring on your finger, they walk you down the aisle, and as far as they're concerned, they're never gonna have to do anything else because they've given you the one thing you've always wanted. So now it's your job to work through it. And that also kicks in. And I see that a lot with my clients when they become exclusive. The man's effort goes to zero. The phone calls die down considerably, because I really truly believe that as women, we have signaled to men that girlfriend status is equivalent to wife, that it's just literally this far away from being wife, and that it will do. So there's that complacency that kicks in very, very quickly. So, let's discuss, if you will, or whatever comes to your mind, the messaging of that, when as Black Swans, we say, look, I don't want to be your girlfriend. I want to continue to see other people until I find somebody who is ready to propose. Yeah. I've got to think about, do you want to be proposed to by this one? So there are a few variables. What are your thoughts?
I was going to say that the whole thing about being a girlfriend, first of all, it's not legal, except for Australia. When you live together, it becomes common law. But the law is to protect all of that kind of stuff. But when you're just someone's girlfriend, there's no legality to it. You're in and you're out. Whereas for your own protection, most of the time, you're trying to assess whether you want to be with this person. And as we grow, sometimes, yes, you have to negotiate a sexual contract, because not just only the man will want a sexual contract, it's the woman as well who may want a sexual contract. So we can do that within the context of girlfriend title. But we have to always know that contracts come to an end. What is the review of that contract? You go onto a job, you get probation. After that probation, they give you a full-time contract, but it's normally up to a year, up to 6 months, up to 3 months. You always have to kind of assess the weight of the situation. And I think what we've done as a society, we've made girlfriendship the goal. It's no longer I want a life partner. I want someone I can build with. And I want to do that within the context of a marriage. And us personally, we've made it culturally difficult for a woman to say that, no, I am actually I am dating to meet someone who wants to marry me, who sees the potential in us becoming a union, right? And we kind of relegate it to, oh, well, we'll see during the girlfriend stage. And during this time, nothing's ever discussed. It's like, what do you actually expect? I think sometimes we have to get to a point where we're grown enough to talk about these things. Like even when you're on a date, explain that for me, being your girlfriend does not mean I'm your wife. We'll still live separately, our separate lives. We have to negotiate everything. It's almost like we have to put all our cards on the table. We have to negotiate, okay, if you want sex from me, if you want to do sexuals, I don't know, we won't get blocked, will we? I don't know. I've already said it. Anyway, if you want sexuals, you have to negotiate how that is going to happen. I once read a post where, and the thing is, look, as a woman, you also have to consider your sexual market value. So many things that as a woman you have to consider. For a man, the more women you get up your notch, the better for you. For a woman, the higher your body count, the worse for you, right? So you always, it doesn't matter how liberal you are, how Miss Independent you are, let's not fool ourselves. The higher your body count, the more likely you will find it harder to find a husband or someone who wants to wife you. And you have to get to a point where you're real with yourself and negotiate your life the way you want it. And not be ashamed of saying, no, I want marriage. I want to build with someone. And the thing is, there's something about monogamy when you're a woman, there's the security. Yes, men cheat, but there's less risk of STDs. There is less risk of, literally when you move from one partner to the next, you're having to go back, okay, I need to go and test myself again because now I have to start a new relationship. Now I have to negotiate a new contract. So the more you hold off on a sexual contract and negotiate your terms and conditions, I know it sounds like a business deal, but to be honest with you, men do that all the time. They negotiate in every single way. They will be lovely to you for the first 3 days. They'll pay for everything. They'll get you as the girlfriend. And like you're saying, the things drop because there is no more expectation. You have not put an expectation on him to say, no, this is only just the beginning. If you want to be with me, I want to know that you've got a plan, that you've got a plan to wife me. I want to know that you're relationship minded. I want to know that this is not just a rebound for you and you're not just trying to get your pretty girl notches because you didn't get them in your teens. I need to know that, and I think it's really up to us as women, and we have to shift the culture again, because like back in the day, for you to even sit next to a girl, you have to talk to her dad. Marriage was not about romance or how good I felt or getting my kicks off. It was, is my daughter going to be secure with you? Are you safe for my daughter? Are you financially secure? It was a financial exchange. Are you going to be bringing more into this home or are you taking away? What is your family background? And we don't even get to do all of those checks. You need to find out so much about a person before you're sexually exclusive. So when we talk about the whole thing of exclusivity, again, it's down to individuals. I personally say a year is enough. A year you get to see someone in summer, autumn, winter, and spring. A year you get to see someone's ups and downs. There's just something about the rhythm of our own lives that you can tell where someone is emotionally, physically, mentally within a year. Sometimes you don't even need to do all of that. When you've done the work on yourself, there are so many things that you can tell from the word go. Yeah. And the thing is, what we do is we run red lights all the time. Most of the time when we're dating, we think, oh no, maybe we'll fix it. But we forget that there will be fines when you run a red light. If it's a red flag, stop and leave it alone. Don't go through the red light. And I don't know how many, look, I'm sure I've gone through a few red flags, but this is where we have to stop as women and really think, what do you actually want? What life are you building? I don't care what age you are, whether you're 15, 16, 17, 60s, you need to have a plan for your life and what kind of man you want in your life, and then work towards being the woman that draws that kind of man in your life. And then goes down to the nitty-gritties of negotiate what you actually want in a relationship, because you will find that one man who will want to be all of that and more for you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you. It was very, very, very good TED Talk. Thank you. We were mesmerized. We're engrossed. Thank you. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Coach Yvonne?
Do you know, I listened very intently to what you were saying, Unique, and I'm trying not to say my usual thing, but I can't think of anything, so I'm going to say, here's the thing. We meet someone on Monday. Everything in the garden's okay. Monday afternoon, Tuesday it is well. Wednesday, I'm his girlfriend, and it means nothing. It's just a title to appease you. Yeah. And then Johnny has gone round the corner and up the road to Sally and done the same thing. He's gone around the corner and gone further up the road to Jane and everyone else, and they're all saying, I'm his girlfriend, I'm his girlfriend. Because we don't know what it is that we want. And it's not that so much, but I think as women, and when you've, say, been in a long-term relationship, you've come out of it, you've given yourself a time to get over that, and you've gone back out there on the dating scene, you can become a bit jaded after, you know, you've spent so many time flicking left and you hit on, you know, so, this one looks good. And then you go and you think, okay, this will work. And you've had 3-4 dates and it's been good. I think everything that we put together at the beginning, when we put our contracts together, when we say we're going to do this and we say we're going to set our boundaries, we have our core needs, we're not going to let him call me at you know, after the time, all the right things we tell ourselves we're supposed to do, the duty dating, the gathering the information. But guess what? Johnny wants to see me on Thursday and nobody else is talking to me. And I'm free on Thursday. Why should I stay at home? Let me go out with him. But you had already told him that I'm not going to be available. So you've gone back on your word. He thinks I've got her. And so she can come in, and the next thing he says, oh, you know, oh, be my girlfriend. There's nothing there, just be my girlfriend. It doesn't have a contract to it. There's no ceremony, there's nothing. It's just these words, be my girlfriend. She says, yes, I've got a boyfriend, but guess what? 20 of her friends don't. So she's in an exclusive club with the other, I've got a girlfriend, I've got a girlfriend, I'm a girlfriend, I'm a girlfriend. And it means nothing. All this man is doing is, you have got someone who's washed, cooking and cleaning, taking care of you. He's now, as you rightly said, Unique, stopped taking you on dates. He stopped doing, you've become husband and wife in an environment that you didn't even know how you got there, but because you get jaded, your spirit, your energy, everything about you, you kind of lose you in the pursuit, in the, not the pursuit of him, but in the going on dates with this one and this one and this one. It becomes laborsome. And after a time, we get fed up with doing it. And then it's like, you know what, any port in a storm, I'll just go for this one. It's, you know, because, you know, when they say half a bread is better than none, at least you know that I'm seeing Johnny on Thursday. There are more Thursdays going to be with Johnny. I'm not like my other girlfriends who are just sitting there at home knitting or crying into their sandwiches, or you know, or whatever it's that you know, they've got to do because there isn't anyone around. And I think because of that, what we then tend to do is we latch on to girlfriend status because we think, well, then it will be the next jump. The next jump is he will want to. But very, 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 very few of them, you know, ever do that. It's not a easy jump from girlfriend to, do you know, if milk is cheap in the market, why would you want to buy the cow? you don't, you know, so you continue bringing milk home. And is it that, no, I'm not to ask a question, maybe what we need to do is take time out of the dating arena to reevaluate self, to reevaluate want, to reevaluate need, to reevaluate desire, to reevaluate where we're going, what our purpose is, what it is that we want to see in our tomorrow, to reevaluate ourselves and look at us instead of, because we're in a throwaway culture. So instead of looking at ourselves as another one to be thrown away after I become a notch on, take our power back and say, no, I'm only going to do this when I know what it is I want, how I'm going to get it, who I'm going to get it from, and then start again. Not from the beginning, but start from where you are, knowing what you know and re-knowing it so that it is now in your heart, so you don't get fooled and fall into that trap as you did the 25th time ahead of you. Let the 26th time be one where it's, I've got this.
100%.
Can
Absolutely.
I add to that as well?
Of course.
It's, I think, again, it comes back to us and the need for us to stop being desperate. There is a million men out here. It's raining men, as the song says. And the reason that men can do this is because there is an air of desperation around, an air of lack, and we start to perform from a space of lack. If you are going to go into being exclusive with someone, you should go in there knowing that, look, if this doesn't work out, thank you so much. Let the relationship end, but don't let it end you, right? It's only the beginning of something else. And I think sometimes we don't take time to embrace the fact that some relationships are meant to end. Some relationships are not meant to be there forever. Some relationships are just meant to just be that. Let me just be your girlfriend and let's see where this goes. Let me learn about myself. And we go in with unsaid expectations. Like I said, we go in with, we're not saying that, and we don't own the fact that I want to be a wife. I want to be cherished. I want to be doted on. I want this man to think that I walk on the stars and the moon and all of it comes from me, that kind of thing. You want to feel adored. And most of us don't want to own that. We don't want to own that is what we want, but we want to accept what the world wants to give us, which is, well, nobody's going to accept a wife before you become a girlfriend. No, the right man will actually accept to wife you and court you while he's putting his egg ducks in a row.
100%, I agree, and I hear you. I'm really hearing that women are the standard holders and we've let down the standard. And really it's about picking that up and being vulnerable enough to own our truest desires.
Yeah.
I think we have been shamed, I don't quite know by whom, maybe by other women, maybe by feminism, maybe by some men who want to take advantage, I have no idea. But I think the modern woman has been shamed for wanting to be a wife.
Yeah.
It's as if you want to be a wife, you are desperate or needy, but actually you are actually seeking your original design. Being a wife is your original design. And as you ladies were talking, it really came to mind that the father leaving the home placed a heavy burden on us as women.
Yeah.
What we're having to teach you ladies to do deliberately was stuff that your father did. And I think Coach Unique mentioned that earlier. I remember growing up, certainly in my culture, I'm Zimbabwean and I'm Shona, and Coach Unique is Zimbabwe, but she's Ndebele. So I'm not going to speak for all Zimbabweans, even though we're both Zimbabweans, but I'm sure it's similar in terms of culture. My father does not meet any man that I date until he's ready to marry. My father's sisters are the ones that vet and verify every man that I date, and he deals with them. Now, that was really about the protection of the woman, to really elevate the father as the ultimate ruler of this woman's life, because the father was not supposed to be the dominant figure that abuses her. He was supposed to be the dominant figure that protected her and kept her safe. So, even the dowry system that we have in place, that again was a protective mechanism. So I remember when I got my ex-husband, my dad met him for the first time when he paid his dowry. Before then, we had been legally married here in England. My dad never spoke to him. My dad never laid his eyes on him until the day that he paid his dowry, which was probably like 7 years later, because it is disrespectful to my father to meet a man who was not married his daughter, because the only relationship that my father will tolerate within the Shona context is that of the husband. The only man that will be welcomed within our space is a husband. And so I very much was raised with, I am a wife. I don't do boyfriend like that. And in a culture like that, what happens is that men naturally conform to that standard. Men love standards. Real men, masculine men love standards. They enjoy them. They provide challenge. And so when that standard was held, but it wasn't held by the women. And I tell you why it wasn't held by women, because we're supposed to love the way we love. Okay. Women are supposed to be loving beings. We're not supposed to be rational, logical beings that are presenting contracts to men and all of these things. I beg your pardon. We're not supposed to be presenting contracts and doing these negotiations, because in many ways it's masculine energy.
Yeah.
But we have to step into that masculine energy in order to protect ourselves from predatory men. And unfortunately, the culture we live in makes predatory behavior in men very acceptable, in fact, celebrated, normal. So now a woman who has virtue, value, and self-esteem has to now advocate for herself and broker for herself. And it's very difficult, which is why we don't do it, because she has to perpetually, every time she brokers for herself, she's always facing the risk of being rejected by a mate that she desires, a mate that her body desires. And one of the things that we need to be very clear about is that a woman's body does not respond to a man the way a man's body responds to women. Okay, a man can be aroused 20 times in the day by looking at women just walking past. A woman can speak to 100 men and not have any kind of physical reaction to any of them, right? So when she does find that mate that her body chooses, really wants, to lose him is another 100 guys. There's another 100 guys to vet before she gets to that. So she's now having to advocate for herself. She's having to set these standards that are quite steep, that only men can set with other men in many ways, because, your suitor would not, beg your pardon, your suitor would not dare negotiate with your father. My brother had similar status in my life. Boys couldn't just talk to me. God forbid, if any boy called me at home, my brother picked up the phone, it was over for this poor boy, right? And that boy could not negotiate with my brother. There was no man that could negotiate with my father. When my father set a standard for what was going down here with his daughters, how much her dowry would be, take it or leave it, there was no negotiation. So I say that to say that even though we do, say to women, look, broker for yourself, advocate for yourself, we're also saying this with a lot of compassion and understanding, because we are asking you to step into a role that a father would have ordinarily taken for you. And one of the things that men respect other men, and to really get a man to respect your word, it's hard for us as women, because we want to flow with our emotions, right? Today we want to love you, today we don't want to. Today we want to sleep with you, tomorrow we don't want to. We're naturally fluid, and that's why the fathers, the men, were supposed to know. So now if you set a standard before a man, I say this to all my clients, the moment you set that standard and you break it because you're being emotional and you have no emotional mastery, you've lost that man's respect.
Yes.
Without that man's respect, your standards are nothing.
Yeah.
Because once a man knows that your standards are so negotiable, they mean nothing, because men respect the masculine ability to hold structure. So if you say, look, this is the deal, and then you change your mind because the pressure, like Coach Yvonne was saying, well, all my friends are married and I'm not, he could reject me, he could go to another girl. And another lie that women have been sold is that we are in some competition with other women.
Yeah.
There's this whole kind of thing in the manosphere of, you all need to compete for men too. So whatever, like whatever. Look, if you're a Black Swan,
Are
don't
you
even
on your own? Then like,
what? I do. But listen, any man that expects a woman to compete usually is a low value man. And it for what? If you are a high value woman, if you're a Black Swan, if you're feminine, you are not going to be in scarcity mode like that. The truth of the matter is, you will always have options. Women will always be more desirable than the other way around. The tables will never turn. Even the most unattractive woman on the earth, if there's such a thing, if she's got a tree growing out of her face, she's still gonna have somebody who wants to get into a knickers. So it's never gonna be, but I think we have imbibed this thing that, well, if you don't give me what I want and you don't go with what I want, which is out of order. The real divine order is that the one who is courting must do everything he can to please and to charm the one that is being courted, because he understands that a woman in his life is an asset. A woman in his life is an enhancer. When a man, and this, men don't understand wifehood because they have been sold sex on the streets.
yeah.
They think they're recruiting a sexual partner. They don't realize that they're recruiting real estate. They're recruiting an enhancer, because the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. When I've done videos on this before, when a man brings in a wife, his life must 10x, 20x, 30x, 100x.
Favorable.
The way he moves, the way he looks, he just needs to get sexier. He needs to be smarter. His whole aura, his vibe, his authority on the earth,
his health,
his money. When you bring in a wife, she amplifies you. She builds you up. So when you are acquiring an asset that everybody's looking for, because a lot of men are looking for women, they're not looking for wives. A wife is an asset. If you're looking for an asset, and that asset is something that amplifies you and would quadruple you and 10x you, it is up to you to court, to invite, to impress, to put your best foot forward, because she is coveted. Right? She's coveted. So when we are not wives, when we have not trained ourselves to be wife energy, when we're still out here throwing placards, I had somebody on my Instagram giving me the whole, I think I spoke something about submission, and everybody was out here all up in arms. I had people in my DMs trying to tell me about how it's not feminist. And I was like, at what point did I ever tell you I was a feminist? Right. I believe that what I teach empowers women to be great and powerful. I don't need to be a feminist. I don't need to have a title to do that. And I don't believe in a lot of feminism doctrines and rhetoric. So the reality of it is that, when we actually put our nose up at wife attributes, when we put our nose up at things like submission and we think, yuck, disgusting, when we put our nose up at concepts of being domesticated. Look, I run a business. I'm a busy girl, but I know how to take care of my man. It's that simple. It's that simple. What he eats, where he stays, the home he comes to, he must be taken care of. I'm not his mom. I'm not going to mother him, but he will be taken care of. Even if I run the world, even if I was running the world, my man is taken care of in every way that a man needs to be taken care of: mind, body, spirit, and soul. I didn't just happen upon that. I trained myself, right? I educated myself. I observed wives. I taught myself to become a wife. When you are like that, you're not afraid to ask for your price. You're only afraid to ask for your price when you're not clear of your value.
Yeah, exactly.
And if your value is just a bit of, yeah, I'm a Black Swan, and you just hop onto other people's things. I'm a high value woman. I'm a Black Swan. I'm a child of God. God says I'm a princess. So that. No. Princess is as princess does. Queen is as queen does. Wife is as wife does. So if you are ignorant and you don't know how to love a grown masculine man who's a king, if you don't know how to do that, then you're going to have a problem asking for your price. And that price is always going to be negotiable. It's always going to be, well, give me a few years, you know, I've been hurt before, whatever story he's going to give you. If you know you're a wife and you know you're an asset, it's not easy, but it's an easier deal to broker for yourself. So I can see Coach Yvonne is itching to contribute something. Please go ahead.
Do you know, when you said, when a man, the scripture, we all know when a man finds a wife, etc. But there's another scripture of the older women teach the younger. And unfortunately, there isn't anyone to teach young women today how to be wives.
Here we are.
Young girls, you grow up and you, yes, we are here. You know, when you look in secondary schools today and you see the young girls and they come in, the skirts are up to here, they're doing, when they left home that morning, they didn't look like that. But by the time they went to the end of the road and they rolled the skirt up and they did, and it's short, and it's all the young boys are looking at them, and, you know, everything that they've got is on show. And there's nobody among them, not even the teachers, saying, come on now, ladies, that's not how to behave. That's not how it's done. If you want a quality man, that's not how you behave. And there is no system that somebody can go to learn what it is to be a wife to, other than here. There's nowhere out there where people learn, and why children are bringing themselves up. You don't have two parents at home. Most homes nowadays is a single parent family. So when I was spoke earlier about women getting jaded, this is also one of the reasons why they're having to bring themselves up. They're having to take care of themselves. They're having to put food on the table, you know, all the things that they have to do to keep body and soul together. They have needs, they want their needs to be met. Maybe this one will be the right one, and you do that, hoping that it's going to happen, and it doesn't. And then you start the ball, all rolling again. So I think what is needed now is for those that are coming behind us, the neurological pathways that we set for those coming, so that they can learn. It's not about being a girlfriend, because a girlfriend is just something to appease you for today. A wife is someone who you're to become, because when you're a wife, you have a lot more status, you have a lot more going for you. You can't be thrown away as easily as you can a girlfriend. So let's move towards that. Let's educate ourselves and do all we can to get there. Take the journey that is needed in order for you to find it. And let's begin by teaching those coming behind. Yeah, that's what's needed. Because if you don't, there's nothing wrong with looking pretty. There's nothing wrong with being the best dressed girl on earth, and I can't follow you home. Why? Because when I open the door, all I see is chaos. You must be a reflection. And if you're going to be taken, you know, some man's going to come and think, oh, wife material, because you look the part. And then he comes to your home and you leave him outside the door. And every time he comes to your house, you leave him outside the door. How will you take care of his home? So it's not just about, you know, there's the practical side of being a wife. There's the financial side that you need to take care of also when you're a wife, because guess what? You have a home to run. And if your husband comes in and he says, right, you know, all the bills are paid, is there anything else that I might have forgotten? You should know, okay, this need to be done, that need to be done, whatever, you know, both of you know what's going on in the home. And not like when I first got married and spent money on shoes instead of paying bills. You know, we need to stop and take a breath for a minute and say, okay, so where do I go? where can I learn to be? Chengi spoke just now of, I know how to take care of my man. Okay, where do I go to find what you know? Who did I learn it from? Unique. Over to you.
I was actually going to say that it's sad because, again, I grew up in a culture where that was provided. Like Chengi said, my dad's sisters would always take me under their wing. They would take me, like you'd always go away, and during school holidays, I'd always be at my auntie's. And those are the things that they were schooling you in. That was the job of the sisters, as it were. So like now, my nieces, I make it a point to talk to them. Like, this is how you handle yourself as a woman. It culturally, that was the job of the aunties. And we all, and you know, like how we always joke about, oh, wish auntie and this auntie, but they actually played a vital part in communities. But now, again, with the disbursement, just creating words, the disbursement of our population, we've kind of gone into, like, I grew up in Africa. Coming here is a total game changer. I've kind of lost that contact with aunties. And I'm having to bring myself up. I'm having to bring myself up with my own daughter. My daughter doesn't have access to those aunties again. So, which is why we formed this community, Black Swan Nation. There's so much you can do here, even if you are, it doesn't matter what age you are. And I know sometimes it can, the thing is, unfortunately, we're even schooling our own generation because we missed out on all of that. Yeah. I came here when I was 21. So those are the ages where I would have been taught and indoctrinated into the culture. I realized that even when we have funerals, I don't even know what to do, because at my age, at 21, that is when everything would, in my 20s, I would have been taken aside by the aunties and to get, this is what happens, When in my teens, all we're talking about is when your periods come, to stay away from boys, because this is now happening to your body. And that's what I came away with. But now in my 20s, what they tend to do is, there's this tradition, when someone gets married, they call all the young girls in their 20s with the bride and the groom and all the bridesmaids, and the elders come into one room, and they advise them, like, coming from the elders themselves. And I remember only attending one or two of those before I came here. And like I was saying, that is now lost in culture. That is not, I don't even, in my language, it's called LEEKHAYA, but then it's called being advised. That's the direct translation. But those were things that were continuously going on. So I believe this is what we have done here with Black Swan Nation, is we are continuously kind of culturing you in the way life should be, especially relationship-wise, because those cultures were formed by strong relationships. Culture is not formed just by, you know, random people here and there. It is formed by strong relationships. And this is the Black Swan culture. We help women form strong relationships, one with themselves, with your friends, with your family. We help you form boundaries, and we help you form boundaries within relationships, because how you do one thing is how you're going to do everything. How you relate to yourself is how you're going to relate in a relationship. And you will find that the ones that we are all accepting girlfriend status are the ones that are also accepting friendships that are lacking, friendships that have got nowhere, jobs that are not going anywhere, that are just leading you to just stay in the same place continuously. As a human being, we need adventure and continuity, and we need discovery. Otherwise, you get stagnant. So if you are just looking for girlfriends, you are going to get stagnant in that role. It needs to be beyond girlfriend. It needs to be beyond mother. It needs to be beyond wife. There's so much more to this that I'm sad, because we can only cover things like this in a live, and some of you will only hear about it and come back and watch the replay, but you won't take that step further to join Swan Nation and invest in yourself and actually be in a community that will help you grow. And I was saying, my hurt is that it's not just my children that are missing out on this kind of culturing. It's our culture as well. The minute feminism and globalization came about, we have lost that very thread and that very fabric that holds us together. And we're all very individualistic. Like, I'll come and listen, yeah, but it's not for me. Community is for everyone, right? And we won't have that shift and change in men when we women still accept the girlfriend role, when we still accept being someone's girlfriend for 5 years, when we still accept having children with a man who has not decided to honor you, you know, by actually putting a ring on you and saying that, you know what, I want to look after you, I want to cherish you, I want to do this for you. We're not going to go forward when we still allow our little kids, like you said, to walk out on the street. Like if I did that when I was back home, to go anywhere, walk on the street and change into a little thing, there'll be some auntie who will pull me by the ear, like, what are you doing? There's no accountability anymore. So it's all of those things where, for me, it hurts me, because it's something that I feel we provide here at Black Swan Relationship Academy. But I guess sometimes it's the translation into culture. And, you know, we all like the free information. In a world where there's so much information, there's so little knowledge. There's so little people who are willing to actually invest in the knowledge that is available. So what was I saying again?
Absolutely. I mean, you're saying a lot of really important things. I'm going to interject that because I just want
please do.
kind of nail down some of the things that both of you said. And this is really an issue of education. The other day I was sort of reflecting and really looking at the culture of relationships, and I realized that what we have is an advice culture, not an education culture. The problem with advice culture, can you tell me this, what's happening? Can you advise me? Can you advise me? That's all very good. And that's auntie work. And that's stuff that we do in the Black Swan Nation. Because we all need advice, but we cannot build relationships on advice. The problem is you can put advice on ignorance and you'll still get zero. You know, it's like 10 times 0 equals 0, 100 times 0 equals 0. Because advising a person with an education yields way more results, which is why I started the Black Swan Relationship Academy, because I knew God said to me, look, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So what you're saying is we've got a lot of this information, but we don't have knowledge.
Yeah.
And I'd even go a step further to say we don't have application of knowledge, which is wisdom. So we have all this information and we want to come and do the freebie stuff. And I'm happy to do the freebie stuff. I want to serve, as we're all happy to serve in the way that we can. And I did a poll on Instagram the other day and I asked people, how come you haven't booked a coach? You know, we've been here forever. Some of our followers have been here since God knows. And the 78% of people said it's because they couldn't afford it. And I get it. But I also get something else, because I've been on the field. I'm you know, we're field coaches. That means we're down and dirty with the people. We're not teaching coaches that just do videos. We're actual field coaches. And one of the things that I know I've picked up, and I'm sure the coaches will confirm, is that people don't have, you know, an understanding that your ignorance is more costly to you than the money. Because your ignorance is going to lead you to a very expensive divorce.
Yes.
Your ignorance is going to lead you to a very expensive emotional toll. We are comfortable with ignorance because we can always go to my mom, my sister, my auntie for some advice. But you don't know the dynamics that you're setting in place that are going to cause your demise. And the reason we created the Black Swan Nation, which is a membership community, like Coach Unique was saying, is that a lot of us can't really afford the one-to-one cost. No, I understand not everybody can afford that, because you're working with the lead coaches, and you know how we do. Okay. And you know, our coaches, my coaches, myself, the training is insane. Okay. And the coaches will let you know that it is insane. And the experience and the expertise that we bring is insane, and therefore we must be compensated accordingly. However, we created the Black Swan Nation because we wanted to give room for everybody. Everyone should be able to access wisdom. And that's a group coaching session. And it's not, I can't even put a percentage amount to the one-to-one coaching. It's probably like 2% of what some of your sisters are here paying, right? So this is really an opportunity for you to engage and really get knowledge. We've also got the courses, and those courses are to build your educational system, you know, and the work that Coach Yvonne was talking about, that's what the soulmate attraction system is for. Because look, daddy ain't here anymore. Either he's passed away, or he's emotionally absent, or because those with dads that are present are not watching these videos. They're in happy relationships. If you're watching this video, it's because there's dysfunction in your relationships. If you're watching this video, it's because there's disappointment in your relationships. If you're watching this video, it means you're not winning in your relationships. And the reason us other women win is because they've got fathers in place. They've got fathers who watch over them, who have taught them, present fathers, not just a physical man in the home, but an emotionally involved present father. These women are married and happy, and they're in their marital homes. The rest of us have to advocate for ourselves. And in order for us to do that, we need to have a deep sense of knowing ourselves. The other chicks don't have to, because they've got somebody who knows how to protect them.
Yeah.
You need to know how to protect yourself. You need to develop a deep self-awareness. You need to understand your traumas. You need to understand the stuff that is breaking you down. You need to understand where you stand on your platform, because you're going to have to stand on your own value. You're going to have to stand on your own self-worth to negotiate with a quality man who also has options. But to negotiate with this man, you need to know truly deep down inside, in a deep, deep place where only you can know, that you deserve the price that you're charging for yourself. And then you also need the same self-esteem and self-worth to ensure that that man is worthy of you. Because that's another piece. We're so desperate to get married that we don't vet, we don't check, we don't verify. As long as you give me the M word, you're in. As long as you give me little signals that perhaps someday I'm going to be that girl too, you're in. And men know this, ladies. They know the carrot to dangle. Dangle. Some of these girls, I've spoken
to danglers.
Yeah, I've spoken to so many men, and they've been like, if you want to get, especially church girl, to sleep with you, or to waste her time, just tell her something about marriage. Just pepper it in the conversation, and she'll tell herself the rest of the story she needs to tell herself. And because again, we had our daddies check if the man was lying. We don't have them, so we have to check for ourselves. We have to be able to do these things for ourselves. And I'm sorry to have to announce it to you, ladies, but if we don't take accountability and ownership for our relationship lives and take it seriously, I think I saw something in the comments about people would rather buy a pair of shoes than pay their bills.
Yeah.
But I know women who would rather go on a holiday than get coaching.
Yeah. Or buy shoes rather than coaching.
Sorry?
Or buy shoes rather than coaching.
Or buy shoes or a handbag rather than coach, because somehow, for some reason, every woman with a Chanel handbag gets a husband. All I need is a holiday. The amount of people who've told me I just can't afford it, and then they're out here all over in Zanzibar or in the Caribbean having an expensive holiday, taking pictures. You're like, I thought you could afford to be even in the Black Swan Nation, right? Because we genuinely believe if we go on holiday and take sexy pics and post them, that's how we're going to get a husband. That's how we're going to become a wife. That's how we're going to attract that person. And I'm not anti people enjoying their lives and doing what's best for them, but the reason we fall into these traps, and then they're traps that we can easily come out of and negotiate. And then one thing before I hand over, because I know the ladies want to say a final word before we go, I want to throw this in the water, and it's going to razzle and shock us and be like, what? You can get engaged the next day when you meet a man. You can. You can meet a man today, get engaged tomorrow. It happens in different cultures all over the world all the time. You can meet a man today, and 7 days from now, he can put a ring on your finger. Now, I said you can get engaged. I didn't say you should marry that guy. Okay? There's a difference. You can get engaged. Engagement is a statement of intent. And a public declaration of intent. You can get engaged today and married a year from now. I believe that true courtship, there shouldn't be any surprises. If you're truly doing a courtship and a man really wants you and it's marriage, you will not have any ambiguity. Hands up everyone who got married here. If this is true for you, it might not be, but I'm just putting it out there. When I met my ex-husband, we planned our engagement, we planned our marriage, because he was not ambiguous at any point, at any stage of the dynamic about the fact that I was his wife. He said it and he moved accordingly. That man would have put a ring on my finger the same day he met me if he had his own way. But everything about the way he moved everything.
Yeah.
We discussed my ring. If we're out here and we don't know if he's even going to marry us, I'm already telling you that we've got some flashing amber flags here.
Mm.
A man who comes to marry, he moves with decisiveness and he moves with clarity. My brides that get married, sometimes it's a surprise, but most times it isn't. Sometimes they even go and choose the ring with your partner, because if a man wants to marry you, he doesn't, it's not, look, stop sitting around having your time wasted by a man thinking one day this man who's moving in the direction of I'm never going to marry you, he's going left and you're waiting there in the right.
On the right.
Thinking that there's going to be some Hollywood moment where this man who has in every way, shape or form kept you ambiguous. You don't, listen, ambiguity belongs to men who don't want what's in front of them.
Yeah.
If a man wants you, men know very quickly the kind of woman they'll marry. They know.
And they're very clear, right?
They're very clear. So we don't have to worry and say, well, so how long should the courtship be and how long should the dating be? If the man sees a good thing and he wants to take it off the market and keep it for himself, there should at least be a little glowy diamond on your finger. There should be a little something, right? There should be something to say, hey, I'm serious about taking you off the market, because that's really what engagement should be. Anything else is just, if you don't want to get married, if marriage is not your goal, by all means, be his girlfriend. Be his girlfriend until the cows come home. Honestly, if marriage is not on the table for you, then by all means, be this eternal girlfriend. If you're thinking, you know what, I don't mind the girlfriend thing, give it. There should be a ticking clock in your head of how long you're prepared to give of your exclusive time. Because what we have to be very, and this happens so much, a man who's not made a commitment to a woman can walk away at any time and you have nothing to speak for the time you've spent, nothing to speak for the investment you've made, nothing to speak for the body count number that you've added to your count. You have nothing. And we don't want to hear this because it's not romantic. You're back in the queue. So let's be very, very serious and let's have respectful conversations with these men. Let's actually tell them our standard. And look, isn't it better that you tell them your standard and he buggers off?
Yeah.
After maybe this is my standard. I'm not exclusive with anyone other than the man that I'm engaged to. I'm happy to date you. I'm happy to date everybody else. I really do like you, but I'm just not prepared to reduce my options. Right. And I have found in my practice that the men that are serious, that want that girl, they're snapping you up real quick. Because a man that knows he's found a good thing just is not prepared to even risk another man coming to take it.
Yeah.
So we need to not be afraid. We need to be very clear about our value, what we want. If, like I said, marriage is a goal for you, it's not for everyone. If you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I'm just dating right now because I just want to get to know men. I'm duty dating. I just want to know how I feel, what kind of men I want. That's fine. If you're saying, you know what, I've been married before and I don't want marriage. I just want to enjoy the company of a companion, girlfriend, boyfriend, baby, and you can be exclusive to that guy. But if your goal is, I want to get married, that is my goal, I want to be somebody's wife, then I don't advise accepting some girlfriend contract without a ring on your finger. If he's doing a good job and he agrees, if he's keeping you busy. Okay, I had a friend who, gave this contract to a guy. You know what he did? He kept her busy. She's like, Chengi, he kept me so busy, I didn't have time to date anyone, because it was literally
every day.
Yeah, I mean, they're married now, but literally the moment she said, you know what, I don't date anyone exclusively because I'm looking for marriage. So basically, it's first come, first serve, and whoever proves themselves worthy, that's what's up. The guy was asking her for a date every day, calling her every day. Like, obviously he wasn't being creepy,
Yeah.
but he made it so that she didn't have time to go on dates with other men.
Yeah.
And that guy has cherished her every day since they've had 2 babies. And that man dotes on her because he knows that this woman is high value. She puts a standard, she puts a price on herself. She didn't just give herself to me for free. She didn't just say, okay, well, you're cute and I kind of like you, my body kind of likes you, and oh, you took me on a 2 nice dates, so yeah. She wanted marriage. She was married in 6 months because he was not giving her a chance to see any other man, even though she didn't agree to be his girlfriend. And men know how to do that. They know that if they want you, they're going to show up, and you're going to be so busy, going out with him and seeing him and receiving flowers from him, that you won't even have time to be out here, dealing with other men. And yes, there is a culture of men who don't want to make an effort, but these are low value men, because high value really means it's equal to high effort, just an effort.
Yeah.
It's not about the money he has in his pocket. It's not about the car he drives or the house he lives in. High value is a man that puts in effort, that really shows up with effort. And these men, these high value men who show up with effort, they will steal your heart. They will absolutely steal your heart. And our hearts are very stealable, which is the good news that men don't
You're
know.
ready to be stolen.
Yeah, our hearts, we're just so ready as women to be stolen. Like, come steal me, take me away. So those are my final words in terms of managing the girlfriend trap. Is don't involve yourself. If you want to get married, be very clear. Don't cheat. Don't go about the bushes and do these things underhandedly. Let the man know where you stand when it comes to your standards and your values. Let him know where it stands, where you are in your life. I know we're taught in the dating world, oh, don't be coming across, don't be telling me you want to get married, because no. Listen, you're not saying I want to marry you, mate. You're saying I'm in the season of my life where marriage is what I'm after. I know we use words sometimes like being intentional. I am saying if you want to get married, let the man know that I am in a season in my life where I'm looking for to be found by my husband, to be a wife and potentially a mother. This is what I'm looking for. It doesn't have to be you, mate. It really doesn't have to be you, but we must be vibrating on the same frequency here. And so that there's no ambiguity, and just so that there's no misunderstanding, I'm letting you know what my position is, and it is up to you to jump on board or to say thank you very much, but I'm looking for something else. And you know what? Black swans give other people the right to choose their path, to reject them. We are women that move in love. Okay, we don't seduce with guilt and shame. We don't intimidate men. We don't do any of these things. Loving communication and loving relationships allow the other person to make their decision about whether they want to be there or not. So if marriage is your thing, ladies, let's up those standards, add a bit of tax, and be clear about what it is that you want, and let him decide how he wants to navigate that. If he's like, I'm not comfortable with you seeing other men, well, show up, be the better man, may the best man win. I mean, that is the only option, therefore, is beat the competition. In the wild, lions are going to fight each other, no?
Yeah.
In the
The
wild,
strongest is going to rule the pride.
Male, would there be no fights? Why are we so unwilling to let the male being not fight for you? Why shouldn't he compete for you with other men? Why shouldn't he show up better? Why shouldn't he be the best man winning? Why are we making it so easy for him to just... And when we make things easy for men, they don't value it.
No.
They value what they fight for. Now, obviously, if you're a black swan and you move with integrity, then he's going to know that on these dates, you're not jumping into bed with these guys, because either you're not jumping in bed with him. And if you are jumping in bed with him, then he needs to know you're sexually exclusive with him, but you will be seeing other people. You're just not going to sleep with them. You're just going to sleep with him, but you will be seeing other people. You don't want a situation where you're dating and sleeping with everybody, because that's not black swan. That's some duck, I think. Or chicken behavior. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I have to say. What do you ladies have to say before we say goodbye?
Did I go, Yvonne?
I was just going to say, I think you have pretty much said everything that needs to be said. And I think we have given the ladies out there a lot of food for thought to ruminate on. And, you know, some women may have decisions to make about what it is they want, what it is they want to do, and where they want to go, and how they're going to do that. And for those out there who are wise beyond their years, they'll be saying, where do I sign up to join Swan Nation?
Yes.
Amen.
We'll make sure that we put the link to the Black Swan Nation in the
Amen.
bio. Please also download the app, because that's where it's at. We're going to, the coaches and I will be going live pretty much every day whenever possible to kind of answer your questions, to touch base with you. So if you want to see us more live like this and ask questions, you need to be on the app. So get in the Black Swan Nation, download the app. Coach Unique?
I guess my final thing is for a woman to always remember you're single until you're married. There is no in between. Yes, we may give all these titles, these wishy-washy things. The truth is you are single until you're married. You're single until someone gives you an offer that you cannot refuse.
Hallelujah.
Own that. Own it like no man's business until, and just like I want to say, I liken it to work. You work towards a job that you want. You will not negotiate. You always go for the career that you want. Why can't you accept the same principles when it comes to relationships? Because wrong relationships will really, really stifle your life. So when we get out of that settling mode, when we get out of that desperate mode, and we get out of that lack mode, you have to understand that you're the prize. You have to understand that you are the glory of a man. You have to understand that you bring him honor and favor. So any diamond understands that, and it places itself in De Beers, it places itself in Tiffany's. It has a space, right? So when you understand that you're the prize, you know that you are, and there's no waiting, because Black Swans, we don't wait because the men come. It doesn't matter what stage you are in life, there is no waiting as such. It's just remember you are valuable. And when you remember your value, you're not going to sell yourself short. You're not going to accept less than. You're going to accept more than, because that is exactly what you deserve. And like I said before, girlfriend status is not legal. It doesn't give you anything. It doesn't do anything for you. So be valuable so that you can be found to be valuable. Be precious to yourself so that you can be found to be precious. And I think for me, the main thing is owning it, because once you own it, you won't have any shame talking about it. Once you own it, like I think I had a call with a client today, and we're talking about how once you've decided to be the woman that you need to be, everything else will fall away. You won't even have to work for it. You won't even have to ask for it. You get to a point where things just happen for you because of who you are intrinsically. Because that's the kind of world that you live in, where women are still complaining about men don't open doors for me. But in the Black Swan world, we don't know that. We don't know that men don't do that. We don't know where there's no availability of men. That world just doesn't exist when you come to the other side. And when you aspire to live on the other side, do something about it. Get on a call. Swan Nation. Put something in the comments. Reach out. Don't just sit there wishing and thinking, because wishes and thinking and thoughts, if come without action, don't ever become anything. So again, Black Swan women are action women. We do what we say. We preach what we say in our own private lives. Like there are times when I think we've had conversations where we're like, listen, I do not ever want to be found having some relationship that does not make sense, because I can't preach what I'm teaching. Because at the end of the day, when you meet me on the street, you should be able to say, yeah, that is the kind of woman that I want to be. That is the kind of auntie that I want to see myself being one day. And I think we pride ourselves in that. So join the club, girls, join the club.
Join the Black Swan Nation. We can't wait to see you. We can't wait to meet you. I know the coaches, Edwina and Nadine, are in the chat and in the comments.
Yes,
Please,
they are.
may you put the link for anybody who would like to join. For the rest of us, we're about to go. I've been watching your comments. Thank you so much, Raquel. You look absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Raquel. We love you to bits and pieces. Who else do we have? Quinn Lizzie. Yes, she's been contributing really good session. Thank you. You're welcome. I am valuable. Fantastic. Yes, you are. So we've loved doing this session. That was, who said I'm valuable? A Hofi Babs. So sorry. Judy says thanks. And Dr. J, awesome session, coaches. Always here to serve. And I'm sure those of you watching the replay will enjoy this. Put it on, drive your car, because it's a bit of a long one. How does one negotiate for an engagement when he is quiet? Let's have that conversation in the app. So do join.
Or just book a discovery call.
Or book a discovery call, like Coach Unique says. Negotiating for the ring. That's a very good conversation. So yeah, we've got coaches to help you on that. So you can get on the app and book a call on there, or you can just go on the website and book a call as well. But that's a very good conversation. Number one, you might also want to download the dating playbook, because all the stuff in the contracts are also in there if you want a course that you can download. But the best thing to do is always speak to a coach, because your situation is always specific. And don't ever underestimate that investment. I've had clients who have had one call with them to get married, because that one call can change everything and change the dynamic of your relationship. And before you know it, you're letting me know after that call he proposed and this guy was not even trying to. So don't underestimate the value of the one call, because these ladies are badass. We know how to navigate relationships like nobody else I know. So don't waste the gift. Okay. We love you to bits and pieces. We will see you on our next live. In the meantime,
Bye.